So what does the big picture look like when it comes to HIV and AIDS? Joining me now via Skype is Dr. David Margolis. He's a professor at the University of North Carolina School of Medicine. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to join you.
So, Doctor, where do we stand right now in finding a cure? We heard the goal year of 2030. How close are we?
Well, it's really hard to answer that question. I think 2030 is a reasonable goal. I think serious research on therapies that could either eradicate infection completely in a person or diminish it to the extent that it could be controlled by that person's immune system really has only begun in the last few years, and we've made a lot of progress. So I hope that a goal of 2030 or even earlier than that is a reasonable one.
Well, if you can tell us more about that progress with the research, vaccines, other medicines, what are you the most optimistic about, and what are some things we should watch?
Well, the efforts to find a way to cure or create what's called a functional cure, which is essentially permanent control of the viral infection to the extent that a person doesn't have to take drugs and they're not infectious and their health will be stable over the rest of their life, has taken a couple of approaches. We're pursuing what some say is the most difficult, but I also see as the most probably rational approach, a sort of two-step approach to develop what's called latency reversal therapies. These are specific treatments targeted at the very rare virus that hides inside cells. It's dormant virus, drugs can't see it, and the immune system can't see it. Latency reversal therapy is designed to make that virus vulnerable and visible to an immune response. And then the second step would be clearance therapies, probably immune kind of therapies that recognize these rare latently infected cells and kill them or clear them. So if we can do those sorts of therapies in a safe and effective way, while people continue their current antiretroviral therapy so that they don't suffer viremia and other risk of medical setback, I think that we could accomplish the goal of eradicating infection over a number of years of focused, concerted research effort.
And finally, a lot has happened in this realm since the first World AIDS Day in 1988. What do you want people to know on this World AIDS Day?
Well, I think we should think back to 1988, those of us that are old enough to remember, and think about how desperate and dark things were. There wasn't really therapy. There was no idea about how the epidemic would really decimate huge populations across the world. And when that became apparent, there's really no hope for those populations. And now we've developed effective therapy. They can be deployed across the world. And so on the therapy end, our job is to really try to prevent infection with prevention efforts, find people who do get infected, put them on therapy, as was being described in the last piece, so that they'll be healthy. And the more we can roll that out across the world, the better off we'll be. If we think about the great advances that have happened in those years since 1988 till now, I think looking forward to a time where we could cure or eradicate HIV is not an unreasonable goal.
All right, Dr. David Margolis, thank you so much for your time.